Well, hello there, and welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth Podcast, a show that provides insight and tools to build the life and homestead of your dreams. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host. Today is Wednesday, January 19th, 2022. For today's topic, we are going to draw from the book 365 Tao, a book of daily meditations written by Deng Tao. And this treasury of life-enhancing daily readings turns a wise Taoist light on every facet of life. Each daily entry begins with a one-word title and its Chinese character in elegant calligraphy. A brief poetic aphorism provides the theme, followed by a clear, insightful meditation on the day's Taoist principle. Deng Tao is the author of The Wandering Taoist, 7 Bamboo Tablets of the Cloudy Satchel, Gateway to a Vast World, and Scholar Warrior. I will link to this book, 365 Tao, in the show notes so you can check it out and learn more. I have been reading from this book for at least 15 years now. So without further ado, let us read. The day's theme is initiative, and the brief poetic aphorism is as follows: let us not be confused with kaleidoscopic reality. Using wisdom and courage to act, let us not add to the confusion. And finally, the insightful meditation reads as follows: the world is a storm of myriad realities, yet we cannot allow ourselves to be swept into the vortex. To do so is to be lost and to lose the true center where all understanding will come. We must act, but in the right way. Action must be guided both by intellect and experience. We learn from teachers, elders, and others, but we must also test what we learn in the world. It is not enough to simply meditate, and it is not enough just to have theoretical knowledge. We need both in order to be wise. Only when wisdom, courage, timing, and perseverance are combined can one have a sound basis for initiative. The action must be complete. It must burn clean. It cannot leave any bad ramifications or lingering traces. An act that leaves destruction, resentment, or untidiness in its wake is a poor one. Then initiative is insufficient, and Tao has not been attained. The world is indeed a storm of myriad realities, and it's easy to be swept into the vortex, right? And one of these vortexes that we can get swept into is the vortex of confusion, and the confusion that stems from words. And what I mean is that oftentimes these thoughts of, especially of Taoism or anything from Eastern culture, it's oftentimes difficult for us to relate to because there's something lost in translation. Now, it's in no means or in no way am I a Chinese scholar, but I took a couple semesters of Chinese when I was in one of the 3 colleges I attended. And I learned that the language is very complex, it's very old, and there is a lot of nuance to the linguistics far beyond that of the English language. So in order to have an effective translation, it seems as though much is dependent on the translator. And for comparison, think about the Bible. There's all these different translations, and there's a lot of different translations of one of the books, primary books in Taoism, the Tao Te Ching. And my favorite translation is one written by, I believe, an author named Thomas Cleary. I will link to that in the show notes. I'll see if I can't dig up my preferred translation and link to it in the show notes. But I'm getting off the topic. What I was talking about with the myriad realities and allowing ourselves to be swept into the vortex of misunderstanding on account of words is that that's exactly what we do. We get hung up in the words. We get hung up in our own lack of understanding, and we utilize our own ignorance as an excuse to not embrace that which is important, which is or at least the spiritual aspect of our lives, right? And we do this all the time. We get in arguments about something, and then we end up arguing about words, and because we are all so prideful, we lose sight of what it is that we're actually talking about, and we end up merely wanting to win the argument in order to save face instead of gaining understanding that comes with realizing that we may indeed be wrong. There was a lot of talk about action in today's reading as well, and this is also very relevant because as we hear from Earl Nightingale in The Strangest Secret, ideas are worthless unless we act on them. And it's true. This is why in the 2022 Goal Setting Workbook by Dan Miller, the 3 key words on the cover of that are dream, plan, act. And guys, if you are a regular listener to this show and you have not taken the steps to download this workbook that I've mentioned time and again, and you find yourself in life struggling because you're feeling as though you haven't achieved, then I don't know what to tell you. This is a free tool that's just so valuable, and it's 15 pages. You can likely work through it in 2 hours just to grind it out. Got nothing to lose, the whole world to win by taking one action and completing this workbook. At any rate, theoretical knowledge combined with meditation, according to the author, is what brings knowledge. Excuse me, wisdom. I think in addition to that, we also need experience and the ability to readily and quickly admit either when we don't know or when we're wrong. Because that's how we grow. That's how we grow. I like all the talk of action today because I've taken on some additional things. Not many, but my year it already was pretty full, and now with these new things, I feel comfortable, confident, because I've communicated what I think I'm able to do. That was acceptable, and I've acted once. This article was just published. I've been a little hesitant for some reason to share it, but the article was published Sunday, and it's called 7 Steps to Make 2022 Your Best Year Ever. And it was published on Men of Order. Again, I will link to that in the show notes. And Men of Order is a cool project. One of our audience members, Chad, down in Louisiana, shared that project in the group. What group, you might ask? Well, it's the Telegram chat, t.me/allaroundgrowth. And that is where insider tips are shared just like this. And he encouraged all of us to check it out, subscribe to the newsletter to get the updated blog posts, and even consider becoming a contributor if we wanted. So I thought, well, why not? I'll give it a shot. And I was pleased with the result. Apparently others were too. And I hope you are as well. So I'll link to that in the show notes and you can check it out. And if you like the article, share it on social media. You'll see on the webpage, either on the side of the page or at the bottom, links to easily share to your favorite social media. So definitely do check that article out. 7 Steps to Make 2022 Your Best Year Ever. Those of you who listen to the show will see that a lot of the themes within the blog post resonate with a lot of what's talked about here on the show. So if you like this, check that article out one more time. 7 Steps to Make 2022 Your Best Year Ever, and share away. And also check out the rest of the site. There's great tips and articles on sports, tech, cybersecurity, dating. A lot of great things. On the last home stretch of the show today, I'm going to reread and cover this last little paragraph from Deng Ming Dao today. We read, "Only when wisdom, courage, timing, and perseverance are combined can one have a sound basis for initiative. The action must be complete. We need wisdom, courage, timing, and perseverance. for our actions to be complete. Well, how do we do this? It sounds idealistic, but not realistic. But it is. I know, because I'm getting there. I feel better today than I did 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago, I felt better than I did 6 months ago. And 6 months ago, I felt better than I did 6 years ago. These things take time. And the reason it's taken me so long is because I failed to set smart goals with regard to my physical health and well-being. But I've learned and I've changed, and I've reached a point in life where I believe in order to get to a point where we can combine wisdom, courage, timing, and perseverance, we can only do so through living a balanced life. And the way that we can live a balanced life, if we oftentimes feel that our life is chaotic, is through downloading that 2022 goal setting workbook. And you will read exactly how. That's Dan Miller's work. That is not my own work. And this blog post is largely driven by that. So links to everything will be in the show notes today. And if you like what you hear, I would encourage you to check out the show notes. Share either the article, share the blog, or share the podcast today on your social media of choice. And you can see links in the show notes to connect with us on the show in the social media that we use. And if you want to help with the social media, just reach out to me, allaroundgrowth@gmail.com, and I would love your help. That would be perhaps right now, the most beneficial way to give back to the show and participate in a bigger way. So guys, that's it for today. I hope you have a wonderful hump day, and we'll see you in another episode tomorrow. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.